Hello, it's Jay back with another vocal study video. I suddenly realized, holy cow, I've gone through the entire week and I haven't actually done this video yet. And I should also be doing my no ums video, official no ums video, I guess right after this to not have everything logjam on itself. So, but the thing with the video that I'm going to talk about, I'm semi-ambivalent about. It's one of those videos that has a lot of very good points that seem very sensible, but I get the sense that because of how it is, how diffuse it is, I don't think it's actually going to. It's more of a motivational speak than it is an actual practical speech. So, with that said, let's get into it and see if I'll process through some of the points of the video. This is a pro tip. A lot of because this is a TED talk by Trsr. It's called "How to Speak So That People Want to Listen," and especially with a lot of these motivational speeches, a lot of these things that are like for bros, someone has thoughtfully gone through and bullet pointed everything for you, so the busy bros don't have to actually watch the video, or in this case, this busy bro doesn't have to go through and make his own notes. He can just use the notes of somebody else, which, I've watched the video. It's accurate. So let's get into it. It is broken down into the 7 deadly sins of speaking, foundations of a powerful speech, which is hail, and toolbox of speech. And this is all within what I think is like an 18-19 minute video. And at the very end, it even has warm up the toolbox of the voice. So let's start off with the 7 deadly sins of speaking, reasons why people might not listen to you speak. Number 1 is gossip, speaking. Oh. All right, a little relocation there. Suddenly my office became usable again. So yes, I was talking about the 7 deadly sins of speaking that Trsr talks about, the reasons why people might not listen to what you have to say. Number 1 is gossip, speaking negatively about somebody who is not present. People just are then going to assume you're going to then badmouth them next. So, bad-mouthing people. Number 2, judging. It's hard to listen to someone who's consistently judging you during a conversation. I think that's kind of like judging someone or condescending to them. Number 3 is negativity, having a negative viewpoint on things, which we'll go into. I might have a negative viewpoint on that. 4, complaining, which is more merely viral misery. Could be on anything: politics, sports, or the weather. I mean, I think there is something to be said about banging on about just crappy stuff. It's like, if you're not at least leavening it, I can see that, though sometimes there's stuff that needs to be protested against. And I mean, some people make their living being very entertaining about being negative about stuff. Number 5, excuses, not taking responsibility for our actions or being a blame thrower, which, yeah, I can see that. That's the people that wander around through the world where everybody else is wrong and it's everyone else's fault that their life is going wrong. You got to balance that personal accountability, personal responsibility in the world with, I was attacked and beaten in the street. Well, then maybe that there's something to be said about the other person in that scenario. Number 6, exaggeration. Drawing an imaginary image and inflating stuff excessively can get to the point of outright lying. And there is the thing I've noticed in certain people on the internet. They start inflating things for rhetorical purposes, but it comes down to it's you start sort of discounting what they're saying, because you don't know, are you saying literally everyone on literally all Hollywood pretty boys are all chain smokers? After that claim is made for every single one of them, for rhetorical purposes, you start to discount that as just sort of noise that you can kind of tune out. Number 7, dogmatism, stating your opinions as if they were facts without consideration of evidence to support your claim. In other words, bombarding people with biased opinions on certain topics, which I think is, to me, that might kind of go back to the negativity and judgment. When you say a book is bad because it is sexist, if you just say that versus you say, I didn't like this book or this article, or I found this action here deeply sexist and it's for this reason, this reason, and this reason, you're grounding things in evidence that kind of supports, and you maybe also, you just don't say sexist, you say, like, I think this is something that seems to be like deeply disrespectful to a female character, or someone of a different group other than the one that the speaker is speaking from. I think that can be that's something that you can. And I think just getting into the thing of dogmatism of it's good to examine your a lot of unexamined thoughts probably bombard my speech, my thoughts, and the more you can break stuff down and look at stuff like that, the richer your worldview will be, and the more people would be actually interested in your worldview, because it isn't just a bunch of unexamined stuff that you're just regurgitating everywhere. So I can see that. So that is the 7 dens of speaking, where from my point of view, as I'm looking at this as a tool for speaking on video, though I can also see the thing of, you catch yourself kind of gossiping or judging somebody who's not there. That happens, and it is a bad habit to fall into, and one that isn't going to make you any more. When you find somebody who's completely always ragging on other people and taking them down, it is a negativity that you don't want on a personal level. When I'm critical or negative about a book, I'm not falling into a dogmatism, and I'm not attacking an author. I'm saying these specific things in this specific work bothered me, or I had trouble with, and I'd like to explore that and get a richer experience of that, more than, oh, I just didn't like that. It's like, well, why didn't I like that? What in that triggered a negative response from me, and is that the work or is that me? So hopefully not making it all about some author, but me. It's my interaction with this work. So it's me and the work that I'm trying to express the thing, which hopefully helps with the negativity. I've seen a lot of blanket reactions to stuff lately. The Lord of the Rings stuff comes to mind. It was blanket fan reaction where everything is framed as negative, and it's like, it's just that I immediately want to tune all that stuff out. So that I can see what he's getting at with the negativity. When I hear a critic talk about a work where they've engaged with the work and they didn't like it, but they give all the reasons why they didn't like it, and they kind of open that up, that's really positive negativity, positive criticism. So there is a thing of how something is done, and that it's not dogmatic. So the next section that Julian Treasures talks about is the foundations of powerful speech, which is HAIL, because these things need little organizational it's an acronym, where HAIL stands for honesty, authenticity, integrity, and love, which I think this is where we get into this kind of nebulous stuff again of, it's great things to say. It's another thing of like, is this video, it's by itself particularly going to push me further along on being a powerful speaker? I don't know. It's maybe a framework, a larger framework to look at. So number 1, honest. Be clear and straight, not using deception and lies, but using brutal and unnecessary honesty could hurt people. So honesty tempered with love. So yeah, it's good to be there. I mean, there's something in there of being clear and straight, which actually has got, to me, sounds more, has got to do with clearness of language versus honesty of language. Maybe there's something to be said that speaking truth is using clear and precise and precise language. So it's one of those, not using deception and lies. Are people, are there speakers out there who are trying to use deception and lies? And I mean, it's also one of these things that when it comes down to honesty, it's like, you know what? I think Donald Trump probably thinks he is being in the moment, thinks he is being completely honest and straight with people in everything he says because he believes what he says. I think everyone believes what they say. I think there you could look at speakers that believe everything they say but aren't using clear and straight even language. Yeah, so that's one of those, it's one of those things of, I know what he's talking about with honesty and people being, well, we get on to number two, which is authenticity, being yourself and not in imitating a non-genuine persona, standing in your own truth, which, I mean, I think you could try and imitating somebody who is being authentic in themselves, but it's not you. I think putting on a persona is is definitely the best way to make people go, this is wrong. You're lying to me on some level here because you're putting on an act. When there was a fellow on a reality show lately that I just watched, it's Top Chef, who I had a negative reaction to, in that I didn't I it's like, okay, he's a bullshit artist. And a part of that was he was really trying to sell himself and he was really putting on a persona, and it was just like, it was it was not something that was attractive to me. And you just, oh, you reacted back to it. I guess it's like when you get clear examples of someone being inauthentic, you know what is being talked about there. Now, at the same time, you can be yourself, but people might not like that self. But the thing is, you're sort of stuck with who you are. So you better embrace that. And whatever audience you are going to get, maybe it may be a small audience. You might not be a people pleaser that everyone is going to love, but at least you'll have that particular segment, and you can be successful. You can be successful in that. It's also, it's also just exhausting to put on a persona. It's not it's the quickest way to burn out is to try and fake being someone else, which really makes you kind of go into, like, how tough, like, being an actor is. Though I guess being an actor, is a part of that is convincing yourself that you're that person and getting into that so it becomes more natural. I don't know. There's also a lot of people get typecast because whoever they are really works well with a certain kind of character. And the number of people who are actually chameleons who can utterly change themselves is rarer, which is why I guess we have casting directors who go, okay, you are perfect for this part. I see your true self, and your true self will fits with this part, and stuff like that. Number three is integrity. Be your word. Do what you say. Be trustworthy and take responsibility, which is high-minded stuff again. I guess it kind of, I mean, honesty, authenticity, integrity, they kind of all bind together into one thing. There's this, yeah. So this is where I'm probably getting my most. He's got all these 7 things that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't lie. You shouldn't you shouldn't be dogmatic. You shouldn't over exaggerate, except when you should exaggerate. You should, judge, negativity, gossip, and then there's just be honest, be authentic, have integrity. And then number 4 is love, wishing people well, no judgment, which is, I do think people can get that of like, accepting and gathering people in, which I could have trouble with. Yeah, you see, this is why I was probably kind of going back and forth on whether I should do this particular motivational speech, because it's a lot less nuts and bolts, and it's a lot more kind of sweeping generalizations, sweeping kind of like, you'll get to the end of the talk and I don't know if we've learned anything. So here we get into the next section is toolbox of speech, which is much more, I guess, is the nuts and bolts stuff like this. We've got number 1, register. Talk from your chest, not from your nose, your not from your nose, not from your throat, but from your chest. We vote for politicians with lower voices. People associate depth with power and authority. That's also Julian Trsr being this guy with a rich, deep voice. Is this, and I always think of, apparently Margaret Thatcher had vocal coaching for this, which was to lower her register so that people would talk to her, which I guess was effective. It's an interesting thing of like, sound more male so that people will listen to you. I'm not quite sure I don't know if that's what it's saying, but yeah. Timbre, the way the voice feels, rich, smooth, warm like chocolate. And that's saying that like that's a skill that can be trained. I'm doing a lot of vocal exercises in a part of this kind of continuing study I'm doing of training my voice. So I guess I do agree with that. Prosody, talking with enthusiasm, having a rhythmic voice and not being monotone like a robot. Avoid repetitive prosody as if every statement was a question, like this. I'm a Canadian, so I probably do a part of this at all times, and I'm not even aware of it. But that I am aware that depending on where I'm at, how much I'm engaged, how stiff I am. If I'm very stiff, I can kind of go monotone and I'm reading off of something and it starts going like that. So that is something I'm aware of in my speech, and also gives some. I noticed that in my dark episodes, I would often start them in a very kind of sing-songy, hello, hi, hello, it's Jay, it's March the whatever, and I'm doing another dark episode. It's like, no, hello, it's Jay, I'm back. I need to break that up, make it a little bit more conversational and a little bit more expressive in my thing. So I agree with that. Pace, talk normally, and slow right down to emphasize. So, and that slowing down to emphasize is actually something that would be a good thing for me to learn, because often when I get to the most important point in a talk or something I'm really, really interested in, I will rush, which means people won't have a chance to take it in. There's the psychological thing of, oh, he's rushing through this part, so it must not be that important, versus if I stop and really stress this one point, people would focus on that. And that's just kind of rhetorical skill that I need to be more conscious of. One of the many rhetorical skills that I need to be more conscious about, but not become Jim Kirk at the same time. Number 5, silence. My old friend, silence. There is definitely consistent themes in a lot of the vocal people that I am motioning to all my notes. There's a lot of consistent themes that vocal people come back to, and one of them is the power of silence. It's a powerful tool to bring attention to speech, and in that way, using a pause versus using an or an ah. Julian Fellows in his talk does not use ums or ahs. He uses silences to punctuate stuff. Also, maybe to give himself a time to think about stuff, but also more importantly, probably to give the audience time to think about things. What I'm working on. Number 6, to deliver and pitch, to deliver an idea or ask a question and being understood. The cap locks of speech. I'm trying to remember what that would be. I think that's going up high to really emphasize something, but that should probably be used incredibly sparingly. As he said, it's the cap locks of speech. If you have your whole speech up at this volume, you better be in front of some kind of sports event and you're roaring your team or your fascist leader leading a mob. But in a regular speech, that might be something you only use once 10 or 11 speeches, or when you're really pissed off about something. But it's a sparingly thing. Pitch. I think that's what the pitch is. Hi, what are you doing? My Havanese is doing something. I'm not quite sure what. All right, let's go back to the speech, though. The breaking these things down. I think I'll need to go back and actually look at pitch, because I'm not sure. To deliver an idea or ask a question being understood. A pitch. I'll have to look at that. Like, is that like you're pitching an idea? Or is that the pitch of your voice going up into the high register? I don't know. Because there's the pitch of your voice. I don't know. Number 7 is volume. So the quieter the better in bringing attention. But don't be quiet all the time. But also don't be super loud. Pay attention to your loudness. So, I have a tendency to speak in a rather broadcasty kind of way in my videos. I do. Partially because I'm worried about that the microphone isn't picking me up clearly enough. I know there's a lot of videos where people seem very quiet all the time and I can't understand what they're saying. So I very much do a thing of like I'm standing in a lecture with a bit of distance away from me from the audience, because this microphone is in our way and the microphone isn't that great. It's an okay microphone for this camera, but that's something to think about. And like, am I broadcasting my speech out all the time? And is that as monotone and kind of rude, just exhausting to listen to? And dropping my voice down. Hi, Theo. Theo is going to eat his bone and try not to drag stuff down from the drawer. There's so much interesting stuff for Theo to drag down. Have your bone. Have your bone, or just take it easy. Isn't my voice making you want to go to sleep? It usually does. So yeah, that's a good thing. That actually is a good thing to think about. See, this is the thing, is I'm much more interested in this speech at this end point here of talking about the tools of speech, the thing, than I am about a lot of this other stuff, the sins of speaking. Even though I think in my personal life I should working on the 7 deadly sins of speaking, gossip definitely being one of them. I can think about in a professional standpoint. I should really, really, really try and avoid, and think about where that impulse comes from when I want to gossip about coworkers who aren't there. That's not an attractive thing in anyone. It is seems to be a natural human thing, but it's like you're not broadcasting out. Basically, all I'm doing is pointing back at myself and how kind of shitty I can be then if I'm blah blah blahing about somebody else. And it's also just putting you in a really negative spot. So, see, I've gone off on a complete tangent. I think it's the for my purposes of speech videos, it's the toolbox of speech. So that I think I would focus on most in this video: the register, the timbre, the prosody, the pace, silence, pitch, which I need to obviously I need to go back and just review his thing to actually get pitch clear, because I haven't got it clear, because I think I'm confusing pitch. I was confusing pitch and volume there, because volume is an important thing to get to. And then finally, he did the warm-up tools of the voice box, voice of your voice, which he led the audience in, which a part of is like arms up, take a deep breath and sigh, lips ba 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 ba, lips again horse sound, tongue la 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 la. Another one for the tongue is rolling that R, which I cannot do, which is like the champagne he says of the thing, but I can't even do it. And then the siren, which is wee wee wee. So, just all that. It is a literal muscle or literal biological system there that it's good to warm up before you start talking. And I did do my warm-ups. I did do my readout of some poetry. So yeah, that is the How to Speak So That People Want to Listen by Julian Trsr. So there are stuff there which the 7 deadly sins of speaking and the foundations of powerful speech, they're maybe so general and so nebulous to the point of not being that useful. I think especially the foundations of powerful speech, I find, there's a lot of stuff that in there that I wouldn't be speaking. If I was trying to lie to people, this isn't the way I would do it. And it's like, well, what would be the point other than lying to yourself? I guess that's the inauthenticity, is not being yourself, and that's the first lie. And a lot of stuff will fly out of that. I don't think that is a problem for me, other than not being happy with myself. But I try to be honest about that. The tools box of speech, I think, is the thing that I'll probably take away. I'll take away from this video. Yes, and I might even note down some of that stuff for the toolbox of speech. And I don't know, who knows? I'll keep my notes, the notes that I have on this, and I'll look at them again at some point and see if it resonates any differently going forward. Yeah, okay. I will leave it there. I've been Jay. More videos later.